So my question to you is this: in the society that you live in and I live in, what has gotten better and what has gotten worse since you started as a journalist?
Oh, what is this? A history and geography session.
No.
Oh, okay. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Look, what's got better? A lot's got better. People are more tolerant.
Mm,
People are more tolerant.
really?
They don't seem that way, but they are sometimes. They don't seem that way because we have a lot more media telling us of the horrors and perhaps the intolerances and the inconsistencies in our way of living that we didn't know about before. So there is always, I think, a popular progress, a natural progress. The people are more racially tolerant. They're more tolerant of, certainly more tolerant of, in terms of gender. They're more tolerant in terms of sexual preferences. A lot to be done, a lot to change still. But compared with what it used to be, when normal human behavior was often against the law, things have changed, things have improved. One has to recognize that. But at the same time, there have been the kind of changes that we are not coping with. In climate change, for example, we are allowing our climate, we are willfully allowing our climate to change to a point of disaster, and we know that. So something is wrong if we are aware, and we're probably more aware today than we've ever been. If we allow that to happen, but it still goes on, that means, in my opinion, that we're not challenging the powers, the authority that are allowing this. And it's on, as far as the climate crisis is concerned, it's on many fronts, but the burning of fossil fuels and the heating of oceans. The country where I come from, Australia, used to be where I was on the East Coast, used to be a warm, sunny place. It now has the most extraordinary rain all the time, or the most extraordinary fires. Up here in the United Kingdom, people used to joke about grey, wet England. No more. You come here for the sunshine, hot sunshine. Today, as we speak, this is the first rain we've had for the last 2 months. Extraordinary. We've had temperatures well over the 30s. That's not the way it ought to be. That's not the natural climate. Yes, things can be improved. We can do that with the way we live, but that's not the natural climate. We're getting it day after day. So that change is probably the most urgent. The other change is allowing 19th century geopolitical views to dominate world politics. Why is there a major war in Europe? It's ridiculous. Why are so many countries, certainly in my lifetime, certainly since the Second World War, have been attacked when they don't threaten anybody? I think one of the real problems we have is that, yes, we are aware, but we yet haven't learned to look in the mirror.
Mm.
We still take what we're told, that we live in these benign democracies that are so much better than anywhere else, so much superior. Really? That is the biggest hurdle of all, because only when we're over that hurdle and we start looking in the mirror and understanding what is done in our name will there be real change.
Well, that's very, very interesting, and thank you for sharing that, John. Looking in the mirror, that's essential and very often forgotten. And currently, if you look a bit forward now as a journalist, can you share with us what you're currently working with and on?
Yes, I mean, I'm at a stage of writing another book, but as a journalist and as a restless person, I find that very difficult. I'm afraid, not the writing of the book, but the standing still that it requires. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I think so much was disturbed by the pandemic. I'm thinking of a couple of films, particularly sequels to my recent film, recent 2016. I made a film called The Coming War on China, which turned out to be rather prescient in many ways. And I'd like to follow that up with a sequel. Because I have a great deal of interest in China. I first went there shortly after Mao died. Then I went back after China had gone through a major part of its extraordinary development. And it's very interesting seeing that happen to a society. Again, it's films, I hope, that take us people outside the great imperial bubble in which we live. We still live in a 19th century imperial bubble in which we are the best, the smartest, the wisest, the strongest, but we're not. And it's taking us outside that I like my films to do, and this film I hope will attempt to do that.
I look forward to seeing, I saw the Coming War in China, and I look forward to seeing your follow-up. And I guess what you do is holding up that gigantic big mirror.
Yes, yes. Well, I think that's what I've always tried to do, is hold up that mirror. When the only enemy we recognize as an official enemy, then we know we're in trouble.
Thank you for sharing, and that was a great conversation.
Very good. My pleasure.